Joe Montana, where in the world do you go after winning your 4th Super Bowl? Jennifer Montana, what can possibly top having your 3rd child and hosting your 2nd Evening Magazine Super Bowl special? Well, after a year like that, it could only be one thing. Joe and Jennifer's excellent Australian adventure with Don Bleu.
Yeah.
Why not go scuba diving on the reef and uncover an awesome Aussie? Here we go for a spectacular, action-packed Montana-style vacation.
Well, I don't know about that, but getting away from the Super Bowl hype sounded like a good idea. We figured going halfway around the world and down the underside of the planet might just put us in the middle of nowhere.
Which is exactly where we wanted to be, but it took a while getting there.
Hayman Island is one of the most remote of the 19 resort islands on the Great Barrier Reef. But after a 14-hour flight from San Francisco to the coast of Australia, the seaplane hop to Hayman was a piece of cake.
So I take one look around this place and I figure, hey, I can hang out here for a while.
The water looks good enough to get into.
The minute we arrived at the resort, we were on Aussie time. We planned plenty of action for later. What we really were looking forward to first was some rest and relaxation.
Oh.
Alone. Relax.
It's me, Don Bleu. Hey, how are you? I didn't know you guys were here. This place is great. We're gonna have the best time here.
We'd love to sit and talk to you, but we got a water skiing reservation.
Water skiing's great. Let's go. You're gonna love it here. This place, you're gonna have the best time with me.
Okay, so we asked for it. What kind of peace and quiet are we going to find with the TV crew running circles around us?
A close-up.
And Don Bleu doesn't help either when you're trying to stay anonymous.
My plan of action, stay on, in, or under water. That's me in the wet shorts. One lesson Don Bleu had to learn is you ski with me and you ski at your own risk.
Hey, you guys. Hey.
Bye, Don. See you in the next bit. Hey, Don, you like fruit?
Yeah.
You're gonna love the banana.
The banana? Wait a minute. Wait for me, you guys. Hey, whoa. What are we doing now?
Let's see. I think Don's vest is a little loose.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh, thanks a lot, Jennifer.
And, of course, rule number 1 in banana etiquette is the person on the back always faces the opposite direction.
Yes, sir!
Besides having Joe's head plow into my ribs on the first spill, Don got the prize for the most wipeouts.
Hey, you guys! Hey! How are you?
Okay, Joe, now it's your turn, and I'm making doubly sure we get this one on tape. There's a little cross-trade today, and parasailing, well, let's say, could be an interesting experience. Whoa, Nellie, being blown away here. Nervous, Joe?
I'm afraid of heights.
We'll have to take off from down there.
Okay.
Danny, we'll have to move it down this way a bit, right?
Things change. We're just going out for a drag. No big deal. Sand never hurt.
Joe, is the life insurance policy paid up?
Okay. I'm not telling you till I get back.
Can't tell, but this cool QB is really nervous. Rope's running out. Woo! Yes!
Flying, oh I flying. With the greatest hobby, with the greatest hobby. Oh, we never come down, no. Never come down.
So they must think I can walk on water or something.
Flying.
You know, I was getting a little worried there when I saw you guys letting me down and the engine was kicking up mud. I'm going, hey, this looks a little too shallow for me. Don tried to get me to go windsurfing, but I passed.
Oh, Joe, look, is that still Don out there?
Sure he is. He's a real diehard. I guess you gotta be if you're out there in this kind of weather.
Yeah, but it's the tropics. You have to expect a little bit of liquid sunshine.
Well, that's true, but, you know, this kind of weather's not gonna bother us where we're going next.
Where's that?
Diving on the Great Barrier Reef.
He's going around the end. He's unstoppable.
I'll suit up.
Hi, I'm Steve Young.
I'll suit up so he can go up.
No trip to Australia is complete without going under, down under. Some people say the Great Barrier Reef is the 8th wonder of the world. Now, it's not right offshore here. You've got to go about 35 miles out to sea. Time for a boat ride. At low tide, you can walk on the Great Barrier Reef. But we took the Reef Goddess. Not a bad way to travel, considering the alternatives.
Hey, Joe! Hey, Jennifer! Hey, it's me!
Ever since I started diving, I've always wanted to dive on the Great Barrier Reef.
And I was completing my diving certification.
There was only one thing that could go wrong.
It's him. His name is Blue, and so is his nose. But as the Aussies say, no worries, mate. We escaped from blue into the blue.
Hey! Whoa! Hey! Hey!
What amazed me is that this reef goes on for 1,200 miles. The top layer is made up of living organisms, making it the largest living thing in the world. The dead coral underneath is as hard as cement.
I've never seen so many different colored coral before. These guys are distant relatives of the jellyfish.
Speaking of jellyfish, I wonder if Don's going to follow us down here.
Okay, I think I'm ready to dive. Rod tag.
Well, I'll never get below sea level with that gas. I guess I'll just wait for the Montanas to come up to me.
We had the fish eating out of our hands from the boat and underwater. We did see a couple of sharks, but we were told they wouldn't bother us if we didn't bother them.
Yeah, sure. That's what they said about Mike Singletary.
I was turning cartwheels over passing my diving certification test. The currents made the diving less than ideal, so it's too bad we couldn't come back and explore it on some other day.
Whoa, whoa, hey, that's untied! Hey!
It was our last night on the island, and we had to get going. Sorry, Don.
I hope the Chargers win!
You know, Joe, it's been a while. We haven't seen Don. I really am getting worried.
Hey, you guys, you left me up there. I know you didn't mean to. It's a long walk back from there. How many kilometers in a mile anyway? Hey, wait a minute, you guys. What are we going to do now? Come on, let's have some fun. All right. You know, the Aussies are really proud of that Great Barrier Reef, one of the wonders of the world. There's some other great wonders down under here, too. In fact, I think Jennifer Montana has found the new Elle Macpherson. Next.
We are going diving, everybody diving. We are going diving, everybody diving.
Excuse me, what is that?
Let me wipe it up.
That's mustard cloud.
Thanks for the help.
In the world of modeling, if there's an Australian look, it must be that of Elle Macpherson, a wholesome, natural beauty. But from what I've seen so far down here, that's not difficult to come by. In fact, I think we found the next Australian supermodel. In the 80s, Elle Macpherson shaped and defined our impression of Australians. And now from the land down under, who's gonna follow Elle? It's Emma. Emma Balfour's career has gone ballistic from the first day she went in front of a camera. Surprisingly, agent Jenny Hayes says modeling has never rated higher than horses on Emma's priority list.
She wasn't at all interested in being a model. It took a great deal of persuasion and effort to tell her that she could be fabulous, you know. She didn't believe it at all. She was much happier with the horses and living down in Adelaide, which is a quiet state. She eventually realized that, you know, it could be fun and that she could own her own stable and her own property and do all of those sort of things while she's young. And that was my angle.
Traditionally, Australian models move up by moving overseas. Emma's been living in Europe now for over a year, and she's been on at least 12 covers. Next stop, New York.
It's so hard to be recognised in Australia if you haven't worked anywhere else. I mean, you can do well, but there's so much you can do here. I think you can go so far.
Well, I think that in the last 5, maybe 6 years, it's become much more an international thing. It's an industry where if we find a model, we know that she's got to work not only in Australia, but then that she'll be snapped up by the markets in America or in Europe or London.
So just as they're becoming hot, Australia loses its best faces to the fashion capitals of the world. That's because the Australian look is hot.
I think it has to do with the fact that they're fresh, wholesome, that, you know, most of them have good bodies because it's an incredibly beach-minded place.
The natives are also known for their good humor. You might call it the Aussie attitude.
There's not the attitude that some of the girls you find maybe in Europe who are, oh, no, I can't do this, you know, whereas Australian girl will try anything just about. And I think that's what photographers and clients like.
The French in particular are really surprised at how laid back I am, but I think it's quite an uptight industry. I mean, it's such a major industry in Paris, people really live by it, and I think it's a different market to anywhere else.
It's hard to imagine this Aussie attitude surviving the Manhattan modeling industry, but Emma Balfour is on her way. Like Elle, she could eventually be known simply as Emma.
I'd never want to be that famous, I think. The idea of becoming really like a face that everyone knows is kind of scary because you know, it's like being anyone who's recognizable. It's a bit of a nightmare. You just sort of, you lose so much privacy.
So if Sports Illustrated came knocking, Emma just might take the money, but she'd leave the fame.
More Australian fantasies coming up.
Next stop, New York. Okay.
Is it in focus? It's not on. It's not. It's not on.
I'm gonna turn around here. Turn about. This is it. Sailing into the sunset. No Don Bleu.
Okay, now I feel like we're a world away from it all.
Well, at least a half a world away. But you know what I like is you're secluded, and that's #1 on my list. But not only that, you stay in a 4-star luxurious hotel, and those two are difficult to find these days.
And you know, Don Bleu isn't the only celebrity to find this place. At any time you may find Rupert Murdoch,
Dr. Ruth,
the Ruth Prince Albert, and even Robin Leach himself.
When Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous filmed at Hayman Island, Robin Leach found plenty of material to rattle on about. We found acres of pools and lagoons. Walk inside and the lobbies look more like the Ritz in Manhattan than a tropical island resort. Hayman Island was one of the first resorts developed in this area. Recently, it was remodeled to the tune of $175 million. There are 230 suites, a club room, library, and health spa for pumping up and melting down. Joe highly recommends all 4 restaurants. And after dinner, we just had to take that quarter-mile walk to the infamous Hernando's down the beach. In the early days of the resort, Hernando's nightclub was literally a shack. And oh, if those boards could talk. If you didn't get back to the resort before high tide, well, you're just plain washed up. Many a slumber party happened here at Hernando's. These days, it's the only place where staff, guests, and others mingle.
Oh, yeah! How you doing? Hey, mate.
Well, that's it for us here on Hayman Island. Tomorrow night we'll be in Sydney, and that's a first for both of us. And I guess we'll be doing things like throwing shrimp on the bobby and petting koalas, all the things that Paul Hogan says we should do.
And I'll be trying to survive on an Aussie rules football field. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I invited Don along.
You didn't?
No, I did. You know, the guy kind of, you know, it kind of grows on you after a while.
Like mold.
Well, plus he promised that if he could come along for the ride, he'd eat a grub, and I want to see that.
And that's all worth it. As long as he does, we'll see you tomorrow night. As long as he doesn't wear that stupid sunscreen all over.
Promotional consideration and air transportation to Australia provided by Qantas, the airline of Australia.
Look out, Don.
I got it. They're coming at me from all sides here.
I've got an idea. You feel like going for a swim?
Yeah, let's go put our suits on.
You can have a bunny like this.
Yeah. No.
It's overshoot.
I forgot what I was going to say.
What goes on the road stays on the road. Last night I had tonight.
Joe knows submarine sandwiches.
That's all I got.
Oh, no. There goes the game.
Come on, come on. Like that.
Oh.
Shooting one of them.
Hey, John, can you do anything for a bruised eagle?
That is a fine-looking torso.
They're going for the victory.
Hey. Yeah, baby.
Rule
One limb.
clarification, one limb on the floor. Oh! Joe Montana, you just came back and won.
What are you going to do?
The Brisbane Open. What are you going to do now?
I'm going to go to Sydney.
He's going to Sydney.
Coat hanger-shaped Harbor Bridge, well, it always stood for Sydney. Now the Opera House has taken over the landmark status. That sail-looking structure is synonymous with cosmopolitan Sydney. The Emerald City reminds so many people of San Francisco that, well, as a matter of fact, Sydney is San Francisco's sister city.
Don, move over a little bit. Whoa.
You know, I still got this pink stuff on because I thought we'd go up to Wollongong. That's where they have the Lifesavers Surf Carnival on the beach. It's supposed to be great fun. It's 10 clicks from here. I'm not exactly sure how you get there, but did we already go by the Opera House here? From Wollongong, Australia, the second largest participation sport in the world. It's life-saving surf competition. I'm looking out at the surf, I'm saying, this looks a little tough. So I asked him for some swimmies. Well, I figured they're those inflatable things that go on your arm. No, swimmies here are the little teeny, whoa. All of the events have their roots in life-saving. Swimming, kayak, they call them skis, and boats. Put them all together for an Aussie Ironman competition. These lifesavers are tough. And the prize money ain't too bad either.
Well, in excess of $200,000 a year.
Not bad.
There's probably only 2 or 3 guys on that.
And you're one of them? Yeah.
I'm doing all right.
Each surf club will invest about $12,000 into one of these dories. The crews will race them along up to 30 knots in the open surf. And it turns out the boat crews aren't pulling up their suits just to show off. Now, the seat feels real kind of slick. How come it's so slick?
Oh, it's just in the manufacturer. It's the glass they use, and we slide just on the bare bum.
You slide, what, on here?
Just on bare skin, yeah.
Swimmers have to be pulled up. Oh, you pull your swimmers up? Oh, I see.
You turn around, man. Give us the bill, man. Give the bill, man.
Oh, you pull them up like that, and then you just slide on here. Oh, just like when you were a kid.
That's it. Yeah.
Surf carnivals draw big crowds. Thousands of spectators turn out to watch the grueling competition. And this is tough stuff. It's not at all unusual for the rescuers to have to pull one of their own out of the drink. But some eyes wander from the scoreboard.
Their bodies.
Their bodies?
Their bodies.
And the fact that the suits that they wear are...
really going.
Small.
Yeah. Or is it just the fact that they wear these little teeny, weeny suits?
Yeah, that's probably got something to do with it.
Yeah, that's why you're here. Yeah. If you were in trouble out in the water, have you picked an Ironman you'd like to come out and save you?
I've noticed a few.
With the right luck, a person could be drowning in a sea of love around here. Okay, if I go jump in there, could you save me? Or are you busy today?
No, I could save you.
Oh.
I'd make time.
Coming up, Joe Montana meets the bad blokes of Aussie rules football.
You play on him, you get him.
Okay.
Let's get him. Hit him hard.
All right, I can finally get this stuff off now.
Oh, thank you.
Because I'm going to go off and I'm going to do Australian radio. You should do Aussie rules football.
I can do that.
Wait a minute, Joe. There are different rules down here. You don't play with a helmet.
And you know, they don't pass the ball. They kick the ball.
Oh, I can do that.
You don't have pads.
I can do that.
Could you convince them that you're the best in the world?
I can do that. How am I going to do that?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Geelong Stadium just outside Melbourne, Australia, where today noted NFL quarterback Joe Montana will have his first shot at Aussie rule football. Let's see how he's doing.
This is the summer outfit. I'm kind of missing some pads and no helmet.
These are the bad boys of Australian rules football. Footy, the Aussies call it. They play 25-minute quarters without timeouts on a field that's more than twice as big as the NFL gridiron. No pads, no helmets, no Joe. The lack of protection has done quite a remodeling job on some of their faces.
I've had the nose broken 2 or 3 or 10 times, I don't know.
These blokes swear that fewer players are hurt by playing footy than our version. But for my Joe, the pads, a flak jacket, and the headgear are valuable additions.
Helmets are totally non-existent. Occasionally, if a player is knocked out for 4 or 5 times, they wear like a bicycle helmet, but they've been found to be pretty ineffective.
I'll be honest with you, this sport is weird. The ball is big and rounded. It's made to be kicked, not thrown. And there are no touchdowns here either. You score 6 points by kicking the ball between the center posts and 1 point for clearing the outer goals. Aussie rules football is a kicking game, and Joe proves he's no Ray Worthing.
Ouch! I'm sorry, mate, but Joe don't know football.
I'm not used to playing the game without my hands.
He doesn't know it.
After 12 years in the NFL, Joe's more comfortable with his hands on the ball than his feet.
That was a little easy. Still can't spiral. I never could throw a spiral with a normal one, let alone with one of these.
No equipment is one thing, but the rest of my guys' protection is missing.
Where are my offensive linemen? Where are you guys when I need you?
got Montana.
Obviously the bloke can play.
Who is he? Montana, they reckon.
When he gets the ball, we've got to get him.
Right. You play on him, you get him.
I'll get him.
Let's get him. Hit him hard. It's yours, Dwayne. It's yours.
Not like home.
Okay, time for the Down Under version of the Montana training camp.
Greek to you as this game was to me.
Yeah.
Red right, 22 ZN on set.
Yeah.
You run that one on the wall.
What do you think of these guys, Joe?
Pretty good, but I like the big fat ones for the offensive line.
Australian rules football isn't a Montana game, but with a few adjustments, maybe he can do this.
I told you I could do this.
No, you can't do this.
Don't believe him.
Well, that's it from here. I'm Don Bleu for 2AU. SSIE Radio signing off. Bye-bye, everybody.
Up next, the furry, slippery, friendly animals of Australia.
Joe, one little observation about the game. You were about 10 or 12 pounds lighter without that equipment, and yet you still couldn't seem to get away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't have Harris Barton and the rest of my offensive line to help keep me off my back.
Or your butt, more like it.
I was going to block for you, but I thought those guys were going to be little. They were big guys.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but they're a little crazy, all of them.
You know, the craziest is this Jacko. Remember Jacko? He's the one who gave me the batteries for this stuffed animal. Pretty good, huh? And it's still going.
Today we're at the Featherdale Wildlife Park.
Give me that.
And these are some of Sid's siblings. And of course, we didn't come by invitation because they do hate us tourists visiting their area.
This one's named Peter, I know, because everybody we've met down here is named Peter. You know this is Peter. Let's go see some of his friends.
Featherdale Wildlife Park has an amazing collection of Australia's unique native animals. My favorite cuddler is Pepper, a koala not even 1 year old.
When do they leave their mamas normally?
In around about 12 months. They do sleep most of the day, 16 to 18 hours a day.
I wish my children would do that.
No, anyway, that's not continuous, so they do wake up to eat, but it's eating, sleeping, their main purpose in life.
Sound familiar?
Yeah. These are our western greys. These would be the most common kangaroos found in Australia. As you can see, we have a lot of them. We do get a lot brought in. These are all fairly young. This one would be around about 10, 11 months old. That one being the youngest, and they love a scratch on the chest.
Well, when do they leave the pouch?
They leave the pouch at around about, 7 months old.
It's easy to get attached to the baby kangaroos called Joeys. Don even became a surrogate mom to one orphan Joey.
This is the micro pouch.
Here's an Aussie native found in the swamps and rivers of the Northern Territories, the water python. Snakes, I don't mind. Joe, on the other hand, doesn't want much to do with this slithering Sheila.
Here, baby, take him for a minute.
Joe, wrap it around your neck. No, I don't want, you can wrap around her neck. How big does he get?
Maximum size, normally about 10 foot in length. They're quite a robust sort of snake. Got a really pretty bright yellow underbelly and quite an olive colour.
Which you wouldn't want to see around you.
No.
Come on. This is just like the 49ers. A Joey in the pocket. Good? No, not good. No trip here is complete until you have visited the bush.
That's right, 90% of Australia's population lives along the coast, so when you head in 200 or 300 miles, you're basically a loner.
This is about what you're going to find
That's
there.
right.
I already made a trip to a place that's a little bit of nowhere that's famous for being just that. This is it. The end of the line, Silverton, Australia. You've seen the movies that have been filmed here. Mad Max 2, Road Warrior, A Town Called Alice, Evening Magazine. I'm going to stroll down there to the Silverton Hotel, and I'm going to get me a stubby from a waitress that'd make a bishop kick in a stained glass window. Come on. The Silverton Hotel is the only watering hole in this part of the bush country. But the Sheila I found wanted me to pass the test. Hundreds of visitors to the hotel already had. Well, little did old crocodile Don B know that he was being set up for one of the oldest bar gags in the book. Catch it in your pants. Roll it down the front.
Just like that. You pass.
I'm passing. Oh, that's cute. Whoa. And surprise, there's a four-legged Range Rover that makes the Outback its home. There are more camels in Australia than there are in Saudi Arabia. And Australia is the only continent in the world where camels are wild. Let's go! Go, wild camel. Go, wild camel. Come on, honey bun. Go, wild camel. Scattered over the 500,000 square miles of Outback are hundreds of families and their children. How do they get an education? They tune it in on the radio.
Good morning, girls and boys. It's Mrs. Andrews this morning, and how's everyone out there, over?
Very well, thank you, Anna. Mrs. Andrews.
But Crocodile Don B can have his revenge with an unsuspecting German tourist. Yeah, take the test. These Australians, what a sense of humor. Really friendly people.
When the sun goes down, the wild ones come out in Australia. Next.
Whoa, wait a minute, you can't see this. Look at this. Oh, my.
This is what we got on our diving trip.
The best part about this whole trip is when we started out and you kept coming around, I thought, oh, God, I just want to get rid of them. But now I just can't imagine taking a vacation without you.
Special.
Can you?
Are you serious?
I am.
I didn't think you were going to make it through the trip after the banana boat.
Oh.
The first thing on the banana, when you get crushed between the two of us.
I'm still suffering from that. I still have
Jennifer,
the
I
ribs.
want to know how come she was on one ski, you were on two. Water ski.
Because I don't know how to ski on one side.
And you don't know how to scuba dive either, do you?
Well, I know how to scuba dive, but when I fill out the thing that says I have asthma, they go, no.
And I thought, you probably don't realize this, but you have not been the same since you went and played Aussie rules without your helmet on.
I played without my helmet?
Does he usually wear a helmet?
The whole trip could have been ruined in the very beginning when Mondo, our cameraman, the most important man of all,
You can't see him,
loses
but there
his
he is.
passport.
Good try, good try.
Gary gets
absolutely.
attacked by a koala. Anyway, we can tell these stories all night, but here's what's coming up tomorrow.
Oh, no. Jennifer lets loose all the embarrassing home movies shot during our adventure. And I have to make good on my promise to eat an aboriginal delight, a witchetty grub worm. Plus, Phil and Paul reveal the common mistake made about pigskins.
And let's not forget about the infamous camera, the Evening Magazine Home Australia videos. Yes,
No,
folks?
No, no.
When you least
cannot.
expect
You
it.
cannot.
Expect it. We got it all.
He was in the locker room doing Aussie football and changing into the uniform. You
I
can't
like
show
it.
that.
Why not?
We got you with the French fries.
I don't
You know,
like
the old
that.
French
We don't
fries.
have to
Where
show that.
were the French
okay,
fries?
Don. How about you and the sheep? How about you and the sheep?
I didn't do anything with the sheep.
The sheep, that's
The
right.
sheep was my friend. You know what? I like the koala, too.
Listen, you guys, we have got to go. Good night.
Promotional consideration and air transportation to Australia provided by Qantas, the airline of Australia. Promotional consideration and accommodations in Sydney provided by the Regent Hotel.
Look out, Don.
I got it. They're coming at me from all sides here.
Not an idea.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lauren Nancaro.
And I'm Gian Yanahiro. The last several evenings, we've all been watching Joe and Jennifer Montana's excellent Australian adventure. It's been a lot of fun, especially their home videos.
Joe and Jennifer took a home video camera with them down under, and they came up with some of Australia's funniest home videos.
After 2 weeks of shooting behind the scenes, we could start our own show called Australia's Funniest Home Videos, mate. There we are. Hello. It's not on.
Hi.
Yeah, with this group, there was always a camera perched on someone's shoulder, even mine. Whoops, out of focus. What happened to me? Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine.
No, me. How you doing? Fine, thanks.
Our first day on Hayman Island was slated for jet lag recuperation. Instead, we played a game of touch football.
I have the ball, and I'm not going to play unless I can show my
Hey, what can I say? Jennifer's been stealing my playbook. Oh, is that for me? Look, I told them I can't catch worth beans.
No hands, Montana.
But the play that goes down in the record books, Joe Montana fades back. He sees Julie, the producer, streaking down the sidelines. She makes the catch. Touchdown! Oh, God. By the way, if you're not taping this segment of the show, Julie does run a tape of this play each night at her home.
There's Mondo. He's still alive. My favorite part of this trip was being behind the camera for a change.
In fact, Joe captured some live action when Gary, our sound tech, was attacked by a vicious koala. But don't let him fool you. When it's not a news camera, Joe's as big a ham as everyone else.
No, upside down. Oh, yeah. Can't hear you.
And there are.
Hands. Oh, yeah, look, Bob. Oh, now one hand. Oh, no hands.
Oh, Joe and Jennifer on a sunset sail. Joe and Jennifer, cute couple. And of course, I know my role on this trip.
Okay, now try to step on board, and of course you fall in.
And there were times when the producers had a lot to deal with, like a host that missed her children.
Why, I just want to nurse him. I just have this urge. And an unruly crew.
Just Gary being as usual.
Is it in focus?
And which one of the kids lost their passport? Mondo, the cameraman. But he never lost his sense of humor.
I have no idea how this is going to work, but I'm out here in the middle of the water.
We occasionally work 14-hour days, so it's no wonder when we went a little batty now and then.
You know, we saw some pretty strange animals earlier today. But
And look, there's Jennifer trying a new and interesting approach to eating French fries.
That is disgusting, Jennifer. But you would have fit right in the outback. This is the end of the line. Silverton, Australia. The outback. This is where they filmed all those epics that you've seen. Silverton. Wow. We all had our days when we couldn't get our lines right.
number 108. Because these Aussies down here have worked so hard to bring you up top what's down under. And remember, catch us. Okay, we start over here. I give up. I'm sorry, big guy. You know what's unique about this area, though, is criminals used to come here. In fact, I think there's some around right now.
Coming after Don Bleu's here somewhere. I know he is. I told you, there he is.
And what about all those times we got lost?
Oh! Mondo driving and shooting at the same time. He is awesome.
Lost again?
Or better yet, the time I got carried away with my stunt driving. Sound techs don't use their right arm much anyway, do they?
Anybody know where the Sydney Hospital is from here?
I got a great attorney for you.
Yeah.
Only a girly man won't make these sticks.
All in all, it was a great time, and we have plenty of home movies to bore our friends with.
Do me a favor. Don't invite me.
I like that. Good home videos. Luckily, Joe and Jen are not eligible for our big contest. All this month, People Are Talking and Evening Magazine are teaming up to find the Bay Area's best home videos.
So if you've got a home video that's cute, funny, memorable, even weird, send it to us on VHS half-inch tape to Home Video Contest, 855 Battery, San Francisco 94111.
We have some fabulous prizes we're going to give away, and we'll show the winning entries on both People Are Talking and Evening Magazine on May 21st.
And now Don Bleu tries to make good his promise to Joe and Jennifer Montana that he would eat an honest-to-goodness Australian grub worm. Will he do it?
I don't think so.
Tonight, we're cooking something very special for you.
You think you like it.
In fact, what we're slicing up here is not quite legal for some Australians and downright sacrilegious for others. We are about to devour Australia's revered national symbol. Kangaroo! Kangaroo cuisine is kosher in the outback, but is just being legalized here in New South Wales. John Paul Brunetto, owner of Roundtree's restaurant, will probably be the first in Sydney to throw a roux on the queue.
As you can see, it's fat-free, hardly any fat on it.
Whoop!
And,
Kangaroo.
skip that you.
Yeah. It is.
Course,
It's very lean.
very lean. Well, in fact, kangaroo meat is known to be very, very low in cholesterol.
Uh-huh. Oh, so this is healthy.
Very healthy.
Not for the kangaroo, but
well,
yeah.
Roundtree specializes in ingredients that the Aboriginals would have found in Australia hundreds of years ago. There's the famous witchetty grub worm that I've been dared to eat. There's water buffalo, and of course, unlucky kangaroos.
It can either be a grey kangaroo or the big red kangaroo, which are very large kangaroos. They're not the wallabies, which are a very different species
cute.
of kangaroo.
It's not the cute one. It's the big ugly ones that you don't really mind eating.
The big ones that will bump you.
This may have been an ugly kangaroo, but it tastes pretty darn good. I'd say it's somewhere between beef and venison.
Oh, just kidding. Let's try that koala meat you got over here.
Oh, come on, Don.
Okay, no koala meat. But we will start with the witchetty grub soup, right, guys?
Witchetty grub soup.
It's
The larvae.
larva, meaning like goo.
No, more like a worm.
There's worms in here? There are worms in here. Joe, no problem. I could eat grubs all night long. No problem. Bring them on.
So for being so manly, I was rewarded with, worms. Now this one is quite a bit larger than the one I found in my soup.
It's kind of wormy. No, it's not really wormy, though.
Let's say it's the nutty flavor.
A nutty flavor. It is a nutty flavor, yeah.
So it's a little nutty, this worm business. Hey, but you two can make friends with a witchetty grub. The Australian food craze is bound to hit California any day now. And you'll know that you've had kangaroo meat if you have this incredible urge to stuff your kids in your pocket.
Now, I've had kangaroo down under. It's not bad, but a grub? Yuck, never, ever.
I don't know. You add a little soy sauce to anything, it'll taste okay. Coming up, Joe and Jennifer and Don Bleu find out that Sydney's nightlife can be pretty wild. Well, it took the Oakland A's a little bit longer than we anticipated to beat the New York Yankees last night, but they did it. But as a result, we didn't get to show you Joe and Jennifer and Don Bleu's excellent After Dark adventure on the streets of Sydney. Not to worry, here it is.
Welcome back to our Australian adventure. You know, we saw some pretty strange animals earlier today. That's nothing compared to what you can find down under after dark.
We're starting off with Don Bleu.
Who else?
Who found some real wildlife in a district called King's Cross.
Wildlife is far from endangered here at King's Cross in Sydney. If red light districts were officially rated, this one would be a 4-star. The women at King's Cross are very accommodating. The men are just itching to drop their drawers. And the entertainment in these parts, well, I guess it's not for everybody.
Come on in, you gotta see this. Yeah, come on in. Whoa, wait a minute, you can't see this. No, whoa. So long, angel of Harlem.
So why do people flock to join this no-class huddled mass? Everyone has a different reason.
Check out the scum.
Radical, weird.
Excuse me, miss. What would your name be? Like Sylvia, maybe?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Sylvia.
So, Sylvia, you're just a regular-looking young lady.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Went to a finishing school, I imagine.
Yeah, in Switzerland.
Yeah. And you're pretty well finished off. I can see that. Yeah. Very, very nice indeed. You're here in King's Cross.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're having a great time here tonight. This place is built for you.
You know, Jen, King's Cross sort of reminds you of Broadway in San Francisco.
And what are you doing on Broadway?
I never told you I was a dancer at Pinocchio.
Oh, God.
You know, this area sort of reminds you of King's Road in London.
Yeah, it does. It has a real English flair.
You know, there's some history behind here, though. Criminals used to come here and hide out and duck in the small alleyways. Now, of course, it's completely renovated. They've got great pubs, great restaurants.
And it does. It really does have an English flavor.
It does.
So what do you say we try it?
Let's try it.
Reservations for the Montanas and Blue. Gotta go.
Lord Nelson's is one of the oldest pubs in the Rocks neighborhood. It's true Brit, from the plowman's lunch to the dartboard.
He drops back, looks deep, throws short.
There's no such thing as friendly competition in the Montana household. Luckily, Don got in the way just in time.
Come here a minute.
What?
Come here. Right there. Right there.
I don't think I'm... Are you serious? There's a place that we have to go. Remember how you were talking about if your hair was just like over your ear, your dad would make you go cut it again? This is the greatest haircut in all of Australia.
Do I have to get my
haircut? It's a great place called the Argyle Pub. We gotta go down there. This place, no, you gotta be
The Argyle Tavern is just a stone's throw away from Lord Nelson's in the Rocks.
This joint was already jumping when our own kangaroo kid got up to jam.
I have to admit, Joe didn't do too badly, but they needed another volunteer for the sheep shearing contest. The first time I laid eyes on this woolly wonder, I knew what she was thinking. Don, shear me.
Will you ever forgive me? You look great like this. I'm serious. So things are moving along at a pretty fast clip, and shearer Sam here decides my leg is looking a little woolly. Whoa, that's a little too much. Whoa. And the grand finale, an Aboriginal instrument called the didgeridoo. When it's done right, it sounds like this. But when Jennifer does it, well...
Sounds just like your husband, doesn't it? One more.
The Argyle Pub was great fun, but we met up with a real Australian character at the Herald Park Hotel. Ernie Dingo, actor, comedian, and part-time bartender, hangs out here in between jobs. Ernie is best known for his role as a street-smart Aboriginal in Crocodile Dundee 2. And Ernie's always ready to give a lesson in the Aboriginal language.
Nganawari.
Nganawari.
You're pretty close. Nganawari, yeah.
And what does that mean?
That means special lady.
Oh, thank you.
That looked like a lot of fun. They needed you and me there, though.
You're right.